Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher. And first and foremost, the preachgaming@gmail.com email account is no longer in use. Just letting those of you know who send me emails on a regular basis is that there's no point in using that account anymore. It is just, well, it's an exposed Gmail account. That's what happens. On to today's subject. Is there any point in killing Garrosh Hellscream heroic anymore? Is there any point in even doing any heroics anymore? Why? Warlords of Draenor is coming. The gear will reset. What's the point, Preacher? I hear this every expansion, man. I hear it every single goddamn time, and it's such a mistake. And a lot of guilds, you're probably already seeing this already, judging from some of the emails and stuff I have received in the past few weeks, is your guilds are dropping away. They're like, I just don't care anymore. This is one of the big problems with the immense fascination with gear, is that people are raiding for gear all the time, and they see nothing past that. All they see is that, hey, you know what, when Warlords of Draenor comes out, my gear's going to turn into a clown suit anyway, and my greens will be better, so what is the point? The point is, this is why raiding for gear is a really bad idea, because you don't really see the long-term effects of what your actions actually do. First and foremost, when Warlords of Draenor starts, and you're going for this fresh start, as a lot of people like to call it, I'm going to get a fresh start in there, I'm going to level alts now until Warlords hits and all that kind of stuff, is what are you going to fall back on as the reason that you should start this fresh start? What is the logic? What is the foundation for your fresh start? What is the basis that people are going to say, okay, fresh start, Warlords of Draenor, I'm going to invite this guy. Why? Why are they going to do that? What's what they're going to look to as a reason why they should do that? Because if you're thinking that your brand new guild that you're making or something along those lines is going to pay off, I refer you to the last video I made on this subject where that very rarely actually works out. And what tends to happen is people try and fudge together a guild. Only 8 out of the 10 members actually turned up. We started to recruit a couple of people. They weren't the best. And before you know what the hell is going on, you're actually a tier down the line and your fresh start has turned back into the circle jerk that you were stuck in throughout the Mists of Pandaria. And that's not a great place to be, is it, guys? It's not a great place to be at all. You don't want to be there. What you're doing right now is if you're looking to start raiding proper, in sort of loose inverted commas, if you're looking to start raiding proper when Warlords of Draenor hits, is you need to start working on that now. Because a heroic Garrosh kill, or a heroic Klaxi kill, or a heroic Siegebreaker kill looks very, very nice on a guild application. Because it's the only thing people have to go off when Warlords of Draenor hits. They can't say, oh, well, have you cleared the first tier of Warlords of Draenor? Because nobody has. Nobody has done that. So how are you going to use that as the basis to start this new, fresh start? How are you going to do that? You can't, can you? This whole idea of just looking towards the gear and the gear being replaced is actually completely irrelevant and has been for several expansions. Something I really try to drill into you is don't worry about your gear. Worry about the kills. Because with the kills comes the gear. Naturally, it's a byproduct. It happens regardless of if you want it to or not. Even if you say you don't care about gear, if you're killing the bosses on a regular basis and you're pushing for progression, you're going to be dripping in gear anyway. It just happens. So forget about gear in all circumstances. All you want to be doing is trying to get those kills under your belts in a timely fashion. Because people are checking things like your achievements. And if they see, oh, well, he did clear Mogashan Vault's heroic or Lei Shen heroic, but look at the date he did it on, well after Siege of Orgrimmar came out, people don't really give a shit. They don't care. You cleared it in higher level gear. Even if you didn't. That's all they see. You might come back into your application thread and be like, no, well, you know, we did it in proper gear. We were just a progressing thing. There's no such thing really as linear raiding guilds anymore. It just doesn't happen. With all the skips available from other types of sources, it's very easy to get into the game and go straight to the Siege of Orgrimmar now without having to go back and do things like the Throne of Thunder. So people just won't believe you. And why the hell should they? Why should someone believe that, yeah, you were part of some progression guild? Sure you were, buddy, who was sticking to the rules of old. No, you weren't, as far as they're concerned. You need the kills because no one can take that away from you. Gear comes and goes so easily. Gear comes and goes nearly enough every raid. This big item that you farmed for. Perhaps during the Throne of Thunder you farmed for a pair of boots every goddamn week on your main. And then suddenly in Siege of Orgrimmar, the first boss you kill drops the biggest upgrade ever. They got the heroic Warforged and it just drops right in front of you. And you're like, oh shit, that just happened. Yes, it did just happen. That is just the way it goes in raiding. You can't predict gear. Nothing more reliable on your application than a kill. I really wish I could get to the biggest majority of people here when I say to them, you know what? don't worry about gear. If you're looking to say, I'm going to start fresh in Warlords of Draenor, that's when I'm going to start my raiding. I've been looking at raiding. I've been umming and ahhing about it. I'm thinking about starting raiding. I want to do it. I'm going to wait to Warlords of Draenor. What I'm going to do now is kind of mill around. I'm going to get some alts up to make sure I'm raiding on the right class, which will change. I can't stress this enough. So many people, oh, I'm going to find the class for me before Warlords of Draenor. You don't know what that class will be like. So many of you right now are rolling Warlocks. Rolling those Warlocks because Warlocks dominated over Mists of Pandaria. That is the only time that has ever happened. Believe me, Warlocks have never dominated an entire expansion. They came very close in the Burning Crusade. Very, very close to being the dominant spec until the Hunters dwarfed them at the end. Trust me when I tell you this, guys, from years and years of experience of playing this. Choosing a class to play in a new expansion before the expansion, before the changes to your class are announced, before the new talents are out, before you see what these bosses do and whether they cater towards you. Right now is a terrible, terrible thought process. You're kidding yourself if you think that's going to work. You might be actually using it as an illusion for a reason not to bother raiding, not to bother doing this, not to bother doing that. It's what all the cool kids are doing, right? All your friends are like, what's the point, bro? We're going to be raiding Warlords of Draenor. It's going to be miles better. Let's go play Hearthstone or go play something else for now. If you're serious, and I hope you are, and you're new to the game or you've been playing for a while, and you're one of those guys who we've helped immensely over Mists of Pandaria with being stuck in the circle jerk. You maybe didn't even really realize you were stuck in the circle jerk. You've been stuck in 10-mans from 10-mans over and over again. You might get an extra boss kill here and there. Every now and again you manage to get that golden sunshine of a raid. Believe me, everybody does. Everybody finds some reason to cling onto something. You can convince yourself of absolutely anything given the right perfect choice memories. But those people who've been stuck in that are now looking towards Warlords of Draenor and they're thinking to themselves, is it worth me carrying on with this? Is it worth me carrying on when these big changes are coming? Absolutely, because everything is up for grabs right now. Everything is going to change. Everything. Rely on nothing. Blizzard could post something tomorrow and say, you know what, we're changing this whole goddamn thing, we don't like it. They could say, you know what, we're not happy with how Shaman are right now, we're going to switch all that shit on its head, we're not happy with how powerful Warlocks were, we're going to nerf them into the fucking ground, we're not happy with how Warriors play because frankly they play like a wet sponge, we're going to change all that. And this big alt that you've leveled and started doing God knows what, maybe even something as tragic as LFR to gear up, is now not looking so fucking rosy. You can't count on anything. The only thing you can count on is that if you get some heroic kills under your belt in the next few months, because believe me guys, we have time. We have time to get this done. If you get those kills under your belt, they have a decent date on them. It might take you the next couple of months, it might take you longer, but it'll take you before Warlords of Draenor to defeat current content. Fucking leave your guild if you have to. Get into a new guild because there is nothing better than going into a new expansion saying, I killed the last boss possible at current level on its hardest difficulty. That is a big, big plus for any guild. That's what they want to see. They want to see that because nobody can argue with that. Nobody can say anything other. Can they? You're in the clear. I really don't want to see anybody coming back to me with, you know, I'm just going to take it easy from now on. And then in Warlords of Draenor, I'm going to start all over. Warlords of Draenor, on any new expansion, when it starts, is a race. An absolute race. As much as we don't want it to be. As much as I personally don't agree with it being a race. And I absolutely loved that the raid tiers were staggered. All that did was actually make people level alts faster. It's a race whether you want it to be or not, unfortunately. And if you want to breeze into it and take your time, people get frustrated, people get lost. You can end up months behind within the first week of a new expansion. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? But you can. Every time you're just delaying it a little bit, just waiting for your moment to shine, waiting for that perfect raid spot to appear, you're falling weeks and weeks behind because those guilds are starting to amass. They're starting to get strategies down. They're starting to pick out players to do certain tasks, and then those spots are taken by those players for at least the foreseeable future as progress continues. If you've got hunters in your guild who were maybe not so great in Mists of Pandaria, and suddenly they're doing the one and only task they can do in Warlords of Draenor, that guy's got a guaranteed spot, and you, sat on your hunter, is thinking, well, I could do that. Doesn't matter. This guy's already learnt it. This guy is reliable at doing it, and this guy has got his raid spot, and they're not going to want to give it away, especially during progress. Every time you delay during an expansion, this is going to happen. You're going to fall further behind quicker and quicker and quicker as these guilds mesh and level and get together and start doing activities together. Right now, guys, any of you who are looking to get something done in Warlords of Draenor need to be acting now. You need to be looking for guilds, more importantly. Nothing better than being in a guild before the expansion hits and being one of the guys who's leveling reasonably fast, who's part of the 5-mans who do it for the first time. Okay? We don't even know if the 5-mans are actually going to be really hard. We don't know yet. You might be good enough. But you might be blaming what you've been left with in Mists of Pandaria. You've been left with all these spots. Take advantage of the guys who are quitting and taking a break. Because in every big guild right now, I promise you, every big guild out there right now that is farming parts of Heroic Siege of Orgrimmar are having players who are nearly gear capped, have done this content, and are taking a goddamn break. This is your time to step in and say, I can be that guy. I can be that guy, and when this expansion hits, I've been around recently. People have got to know me. I've even got to know the other new recruits, who this guy who's taking a break hasn't even met. You can get your place now, and you can even be a part of an easy ride. And by that, I mean these guilds who are already farming Heroic Siege of Orgrimmar. They're killing Garrosh on a weekly basis. They're doing it. And then they're losing players. This spot's open in their raids. They want to farm. A lot of players don't give a shit about other games. They just want to play WoW. That's all they want to do, and they want their raid to be full every single week. And guild masters want that too, because they have to cater to those players. They don't cater to the guys who want to be there every single week and raid. Things start to get ugly very quickly. You can be that guy. Either look to a new guild now, but do not give up. If you want to do something and want to make something of your next WoW expansion, maybe it's the only expansion that you're going to do something in, this is your chance. Don't waste that time. Don't rest on your laurels for the next few months and then just blame everything else when Warlords of Draenor starts and say, well, you know, my application says that I played in Mists of Pandaria, I did some LFR and stuff, but now I'm ready to take my raiding seriously? Who do you think they're going to pick? That guy? Or the guy who's like, yeah, I killed Garrosh Heroic. No problem. I've done it. There it is. It's on my achievements. I did it before the end of the expansion in current gear. So there you go. Who do you think they're going to take? Keep trying, guys. Use this time wisely. Use and abuse the fact that people are dropping out. Because they are. Believe me, I've seen the guilds. I've had the comments. I've had the whispers saying, do you mind filling a raid spot? Yeah. No. Alright, guys. You have a great day. I'm putting the finishing touches on the Legacy of the Warrior. That should be out for you very soon. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you again. Bye.
Burt fucking Reynolds?
Who else could keep this town running?